The title of today's podcast is going to be, What Feels Protective May Not Be What Serves You. Now, in your neurodiverse marriage, when something feels urgent, you assume you know what needs to happen. I need to press this right now, or I need to walk away, or I need to correct this, or I need to defend myself. It feels obvious. It feels necessary. It feels justified. I understand that. But today's principle challenges that certainty. You may not be perceiving your own best interests clearly, not because you're foolish, not because your needs are wrong, no, but because you are activated. Protection feels like wisdom. And in a neurodiverse marriage, where one person is autistic and the other one is not, protection strategies often collide. Now let's look at a core principle here. When conflict begins, both spouses move toward what feels stabilizing. The neurotypical spouse may move toward clarification, emotional resolution, immediate repair. The ASD spouse may move toward space, structure, reduction of intensity. Both believe this is what will make things better. But what feels stabilizing to you may feel destabilizing to your spouse. What feels urgent may not be what brings long-term stability. Immediate relief and long-term peace are not always the same thing. Now let's talk about why this matters in the ASD neurotypical dynamics. We're going to look at a very common pattern here. Conflict begins, and the neurotypical spouse feels, well, if we don't resolve this now, we'll drift apart. So they press. Then the ASD spouse feels, well, if this continues, I'll become overwhelmed. So they withdraw. Both are trying to protect the marriage, but the methods clash. The pressing increases overwhelm. The withdrawal increases panic. Now, each spouse believes, my instinct was right. But neither instinct alone creates safety. Sometimes your best interest is not winning the argument or getting immediate reassurance or escaping discomfort. Sometimes your best interest is regulating first, slowing down, re-entering later with clarity. That can feel counterintuitive, especially when you're hurt. Now let's talk about emotional intensity. We're going to be very honest here. When you've been hurt repeatedly, protection becomes automatic. You may think, if I don't defend myself, I'll disappear. Or if I don't press this, nothing changes. Or if I don't shut this down, it will spiral. Those strategies developed for a reason. They once helped you survive. But survival strategies inside a neurodiverse marriage can block intimacy. Your nervous system might prioritize avoiding shame, avoiding abandonment, avoiding overwhelm. But your deeper self wants stability, understanding, repair, peace. The difficulty is this. When activated, your nervous system confuses urgency with importance. They are not the same. Let's talk about the nervous system breakdown now. When threat is perceived in your body moves into fight or flight. The sympathetic activation would be raise your voice, argue harder, demand clarity, correct immediately, or there would be a dorsal withdrawal, shut down, emotional disengagement, numbing out, ending the conversation abruptly. Now, in those states, you're not perceiving clearly, you're protecting. And protection is not the same as wisdom. Regulation restores clarity. So when you regulate first, you often choose differently. And those choices protect the relationship, not just your pride. Now, here's a practical tool for all of you out there suffering from Cassandra syndrome. This is going to be your practice this week. When activated, ask yourself, what am I trying to protect right now? Is this about safety or about control? If I react this way, where does this conversation end? What response would serve the marriage I want long term? Here's some examples. Instead of pressing immediately, try, I want to finish this conversation, but I need us both to regulate first. Another example would be, instead of withdrawing abruptly, try, I'm getting overwhelmed, I need 20 minutes and then I'll come back. Third example would be, instead of escalating tone, try, you know what, I feel hurt right now and I don't want this to turn into a fight. Now these responses often feel less powerful in the moment, I understand, but they serve the marriage more powerfully over time. Now for both partners here, if you're the neurotypical wife, be careful assuming immediate emotional resolution is always the best path. Sometimes pacing creates safety. Now, if you're the ASD spouse watching this, be careful assuming distance is always protective. Sometimes brief, structured re-engagement builds trust. Neither spouse is wrong here, but both can misperceive what truly serves long-term stability. Now here's a coaching moment for you. Mature love requires restraint, not suppression, not denial, just restraint. Here's an example of restraint. It's the ability to pause long enough to ask, okay, is this reaction serving us? If your goal is connection, your strategy must align with connection. If your goal is stability, your strategy must build safety. Urgency often feels righteous, but calm clarity reduces marital conflict. And to all the NTYs out there suffering from Cassandra syndrome, you have been engaged in marital conflict for how many years now? The answer is you've lost track. Now this week, in one moment of activation, I would like for you to pause and say, okay, what feels urgent may not be what serves us. Then choose one response that favors regulation over reaction. Just once. You're training your nervous system to perceive more clearly. Now in the next episode, we'll examine purpose and how misaligning purpose fuels resentment. So stay steady. Growth in a neurodiverse marriage is built through perceptual maturity. If this resonates, please comment. I read and respond to all comments. Also, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next podcast. Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you.